to know that, make sure to let them know that I am an ambassador, and what we do as ambassadors, between recruiting, engaging, retaining. Those are kind of our 3 areas of focus, as you know. And even in my signature block, I sign off with Gilda's Club is currently providing no-cost programs and services to families touched by cancer. So there are a couple of ways that I not shamelessly promote, but there are certainly ways that you can include a just kind of an little infomercial about your business and what you do. Yeah, I'm trying to, so I try really hard to reach out to new members, to renewing members, to members with anniversaries, and they're all different messages. People with anniversaries, I thank them profusely, and I remind them of their member benefits. So I actually put a link in the email to the member benefits page. And that's our FACE acronym: Facilitate, Advocate, Communicate, Educate. So sometimes when you're a chamber member for, 5, 10, 25 years, you don't always remember the benefits that are included in your chamber membership. And I always, in all of my emails, include a link to the resource page, because I think now in the world we live in, it's especially important to, and that resource page, Lisa, it's awesome. There's so much good information there, and it's kept up to date, and it's just a really good resource for chamber members. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And I don't know if we have time for questions, but like I said, the subject line is important. I'm a chamber member as well, and here's what I do. And then even your signature block, if you put your little ad in your signature block. I think that's all important. Oh, that was a lot. That was a lot of hot air. And I don't know if we have time for questions, but those things seem to work for me. And it's very easy to craft an email, and Lisa does a really good job about giving us sample emails, and then it's a matter of just customizing it and personalizing it for each member. So it's not a new email to each person. It's a similar email to a renewing member versus a member with an anniversary versus a brand new member. The ones you can send.
Yeah, and I think, there's nothing wrong with sharing your company name. I know that Christy reached out to one of our newer members, and that member actually went and rented a desk from Community Co-working.
Oh, good.
So, oh, Megan, what's your dog's name? We have a new ambassador.
Right.
Thanks, Val, for sharing that. And I would just encourage everybody to increase their professional network. You never know when it's going to benefit your business or you personally. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And if you guys have questions about points or ways to earn them, you can always reach out to Ben or to me, or probably to Val. If you're looking for how she goes about it.
Absolutely.
And then I just wanted to mention that we've lost 2 members of our committee. Heather Hopke has left Adams Outdoor Advertising, and I sent her a message via LinkedIn, and I haven't heard back from her yet. And then Joe Gabriel from Thrivent just felt like he was too busy to continue on in the ambassador program. So, if you guys meet people, other chamber members that you think might be a good fit for the program, for sure, send an introductory email over to us. And now I want to move it on to Ben for our introductions and question of the month.
All right. So question of the month this month is going to be, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled? So we'll just do it around robin. I'll just kind of go through and run through everybody as they show up in my participants list. To kind of break the ice, I'll start. My name is Ben Sampson with Park Bank. I think the favorite place that I've ever traveled has to be Hawaii. Definitely enjoy a good beach vacation, and anytime we can get out of the snow in the winter in Wisconsin, that's usually a good thing. All right, so I think we'll head right to Rosa next.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hi, everyone. You know what I'm gonna pick, right? My favorite place would be, of course, Sicily, where I was born. So yes, the Mediterranean and the food and the people are the best. So that's where I would pick.
Thanks, Rosa. Mayor Brar, I think you're next on the list. Do you want to participate in our discussion today this way?
Absolutely. Well, I guess for me and my family, it was the Galapagos Islands. Those are simply fabulous. There's so much natural wonder there, and since my field is genetics, you can actually see the evolution occurring there. So that's where the Darwin had visited those islands in 1860 and came up with the theory of organic evolution. Anyway, Galapagos Island, you know, what would be the top? Of course, I have traveled to a lot of places, but that would be number one.
Very nice. Thank you. Janelle, you're up next.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Janelle Higgins. I'm with Tricor. I'm a commercial insurance expert. And the most exotic favorite place would have been Egypt. Actually took a 7-day cruise down the Nile River and got to see the Sphinx and the Giza pyramids and all of that. But in the States, I think my favorite place, I'm going to pick two, was just going down to New Orleans and experiencing Bourbon Street and the French Quarter and the cuisine, and just, it was just awesome. So those would be two of my favorites. Of course, I haven't been anywhere in 7 years, so it's very depressing, but hopefully I can.
Yeah, we can all keep our fingers crossed for international travel again someday, right? Thanks, Janelle. Megan Davis, you're up.
Honestly, going to the grocery store feels like travel right now. Probably my favorite place, just because it was so different from any place I'd ever been, was to go to South Africa. We went on safari. That was super cool. We got to see all the animals, and it was a lot of fun. But I mean, I go to Hawaii too in a second, so.
Nice. Thanks, Megan. Diana, you're up next.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Diana Decker with NCG Hotels. And back in December 2013, I went with a group of people I've never met before to Istanbul, Turkey. And that was truly one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been through. The history of Istanbul is just, will send chills down just all over your body. It's amazing. So Istanbul, Turkey.
All right. Thanks, Diana. Jake Reneker, you're up.
So tough. I feel like I never flown until I was 23. And so I didn't do much traveling when I was a kid and stuff. And then I made up for lost time. So I've gone to a lot of different places. I'd say Cabo was pretty cool just because my best friend's parents have a place down there. So I felt like we kind of had the run of the city and kind of tour guides down there. And then just the marina is absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's crazy. Like to just look at the boats. So I'd say Cabo.
All right, nice. Sung Hee, you're next.
Hello, everybody. Gosh, everybody sounds like they've been to some really cool places. So I will qualify this with, I have so many places on my bucket list, but I really haven't traveled as much as I'd like to. But I have been to Hawaii. And so if I was picking up places that I have been, that's probably the best place that I've been.
Oh, we got a second for that. That's nice. All right, Andy White, you're up.
Awesome. I love traveling, and I hope I get to do it again soon. But I actually had the pleasure of working in Tokyo for a month and getting a chance to take a bullet train up to Kyoto, which was I think probably going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, but it was amazing. It was pretty unbelievable to experience another culture in that way and see the history. It was awesome. It was fantastic.
That's great, Andy. All right, Drew, you're next.
All right, so I think I have a toss-up for mine. So I like to go to all-inclusive resorts. So the first one would be Dominican Republic, would be one of my favorites because, you know, you can wake up in the morning, grab a mimosa, and then switch right to, you know, pina coladas or whatever you want to switch to. And then my second one would be Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. That was probably my most favorite vacation ever outside of a all-inclusive. I say Florida, Hawaii, Waikiki, Hawaii.
No, you said Hawaii. All right, thanks, Drew.
I haven't heard good things about Waikiki, Florida. That's not the best.
All right, Christy, you're next.
Sorry. Gosh, like you guys, anytime I get to travel, I'm happy. So right now, though, in my memories is popping, in my Facebook memories is popping up that it was 3 years ago I was in Edinburgh, Scotland. And it made me think that as soon as this whole travel stuff is lifted, I want to go right back there. So I guess that's what makes Edinburgh my winner for now.
Oh, very cool. All right, Peter, even though it's your first meeting, I think we will put you on the spot with a nice softball question so we can get you acclimated to the group. What do you think?
Sure, no problem. Pete Mosko with Starion Bank. Coolest place I think would be Croatia. I went 2 years ago on my honeymoon. The sea was unbelievably blue, and you could float like crazy in it because it's so salty. So we stayed on an island off of Dubrovnik, which was really cool.
Nice. That's what I usually don't think of for beaches. I like it. All right, Val, you're next.
Hi guys, Val with Gilda's Club. I had a friend and her husband who lived in Switzerland. So I went over there with a couple other friends. That was amazing. The country is just beautiful and pristine, and actually went paragliding in the Swiss Alps, which if you have a fear of heights, so there are a number of people on the ground watching and a few of us crazy people up in the air, but that was a ton of fun. That was a lifetime memory.
Val, didn't you do bungee jumping for Gilda's from the Hilton downtown?
Yeah, rappel down the side of the Hilton downtown. Yeah. Yep, did that as well. Yep, we'll see you out there next year. Climbing down the side of the Edgewater, maybe. We'll see. Okay, shameless plug. Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
Perfect. Good transition to the plug. All right, Lori, you're next.
Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody. Lori at Area Preferred Financial Group. I would definitely say Paris was a wonderful place to visit many, many years ago, but stateside again, more recently, many trips to New York City, different things, so much to see there. Really enjoy it any time of year. Highly recommend around Christmas time. Really fun. The Christmas Spectacular is fantastic. So that's a favorite of mine.
Good deal. Thanks, Lori. Hey, CJ, you're up.
Good day, everybody. It's nice to see you. It's a good question. I would say I was fortunate when I graduated college to backpack around Europe for 3 months. And so I'm just going to throw that as like every place that I visited was pretty awesome. Believe it or not, that was before the travel ban. So it was a few years ago, but yeah, everywhere in Europe was pretty awesome.
Cool. Thanks, CJ. That beats my month in Europe. I like it. All right, Sherry, you're up next.
I think I would pick Jamaica. I'd been there a few times, but the best time was when we took our kids and they got to experience some of the really cool natural like waterfalls and water some off the beaten path, some adventures. So I would say that would be my most memorable vacation. And I'm from Sherry Mix from Elements Massage, sorry.
Nice, thanks, Sherry. All right, Jesse, you're up next.
Jesse with Bunker Labs here. My favorite place, I got to travel a lot when I was in the military, but kind of backpacking off of what Val was saying, the Swiss Alps was my favorite place to visit. I got to jump off the Swiss Alps, which is called the Cannon Swing. And I remember my buddy, he was like, hey, we should go jumping off the cliffs. And I was like, I'm scared of heights, man. He's like, me too. And so we were like, the next time there's a 4-day weekend, we're going to go somewhere and do this. 4-day weekend comes up and he's like, you know what we're doing? He's like, are you kidding me? Like, it was like a challenge between the both of us. And then when we went up in the Interlaken, I posted this into our chat. Interlaken, Switzerland is where we jumped off from the Swiss Alps. I was like, I'm going first because I didn't want to think about it and see other people do it. And before the person counted 3, I just stepped off the cliff and went straight down. I was like, I don't even want to think about it, and did it. So that's kind of how I overcame my fear of heights. And then he just did because he didn't want to look like a chicken compared to me.
Peer pressure is a powerful thing, I guess. Nice job, Jesse. All right, Catherine, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Catherine Bidwell, residential real estate broker with Stark. And one thing I've started to do during COVID was pictures that I had on my phone. I had canvas prints done. So I have 2 behind me. The one on the left is Oahu on the North Shore. And the one on the right is Sunset in Maui. And I think I'd pick Oahu North Shore just because there are so many turtles there and so much natural wildlife that, you know, I'm going to retire in one of those, on one of the Hawaiian Islands eventually. So if you haven't been to Hawaii, it's part of the US. You still have to quarantine, but definitely a very refreshing and energizing place to go. Thanks.
Cool, thanks, Catherine. All right, and I think we've got Alyssa next. All right. Yeah, it looks like Alyssa's not, doesn't have her audio on right now, but Kevin Campos might. Sounds like he just popped in, even though he told me not to call on him since he's in a seminar. Hey, Kevin, you got your audio on. Do you want to participate in our favorite vacation discussion? All right, I think that finishes up our group for the day. Did I hit on everyone that, did I get everyone participate in there that's signed in? I hope I didn't miss anybody this time around.
You missed me.
Oh, that's right. I was going to come back to you, Lisa. You're
Okay.
next.
So I was gonna copy Janelle and say Egypt, but since she already mentioned it, I'll say my favorite place was Thailand, where we went last December and January. We had 2 exchange students from there when our daughter was in high school, and so we were able to see both of them and just love to be able to reconnect. And the country is, it's beautiful, it's very safe. The people were polite. On the trains, you have to save spots for pregnant women, people with, you know, maybe a disability, and monks, and literally nobody would sit in those chairs, even if, you know, people like that were not on the train. And it just, went scuba diving, didn't realize there were that many fish in the ocean. And yeah, it was just cool. So, so now I will introduce Mayor Brar. I appreciate him taking the time out of his day to join us. And he's just going to talk a little bit about Middleton, you know, what made him decide to become the mayor and, you know, where he sees things going in the future. So Mayor, I'll turn it over to you for about 20 minutes, and then we'll have some time for question and answer.
Well, to begin with, I want to say thank you to Lisa and thank you to all of you. It is quite an honor to speak to such a distinguished group of people. I'm really amazed at all the places you have visited, and you know, I have traveled quite widely, and to be in Kabul, many times we have wanted to go to Egypt, and we always got a little bit scared. Is it safe? And to South America, and you know, Hawaii, of course, is the most popular. We were at the airport a couple of times. So you are an amazing group of very widely traveled people, and that's simply awesome. So I will just tell you a little bit more about myself, and I then tell you how I became a mayor. So we moved to Madison in 1981 I was at the University of Missouri in Columbia. I'm a geneticist. I have BS, MS, and PhD all in genetics. So we moved here right in the middle of the winter, December 21st. And it was storming, and we had a 2-year-old daughter and a 2-month-old baby boy. So it was quite an experience. And I had an offer, and I joined the biotechnology company called Agricidis. And Agricidis became world famous for doing the plant biotechnology, because biotechnology didn't really exist at the time, and we were a lucky group of people. We helped create big part of the biotechnology, and in the process, we got bought by a bigger company called Monsanto, which nobody liked, but that's how it is. So, and I got involved in Milton schools in 1985 when my daughter started in kindergarten, and so she was already so far advanced, and they didn't have the program where the kids could go their own pace. So I helped started the gifted and planted program in Milton Cross Plain Area School District, so kids could go at their own pace. And that is at elementary school, middle school, and high school level. And as you know now, Milton Cross Plain Area School District is one of the top schools in Wisconsin, at least. And you know, all those little things matter, but that was, I would say, would be part of it at least. So, and then thereafter, I got involved with everything where the kids were involved, whether it was soccer, it was Boy Scouts, it was Young Astronauts Club, whatever, wherever I could help, I was there. And then I joined Kiwanis and started a Key Club at Milton High School, which has over 300 members, the largest in Wisconsin. So, anyway, so I was so much involved in the community. And in 2007, when I had retired from Agricidis, some of the friends came and they say, hey, we want you to run for city council. And I asked them, why would I want to do that? I'm quite happy the way it is. So they kept coming. In any case, I ran. And so we had just come back from Galapagos Island at that time. And I won. So, and then folks wanted me to run for the mayorship. And I asked again, why would I want to do that? Well, they said, we would like you to. So that was, 2017. And well, I won that election. And then this, for the second term, there were floods came, and a lot of the goals which I had, they got sort of pushed back. And I did not feel that I wanted to leave things sort of in the middle. So I wanted to finish them. And that's why I ran again. In all my life, I have always found that you must have a purpose, you must have goals, and you should try to do your best to finish them. And what I really like is I like helping people. I am in a position where I can. So that 2-year-old young girl, which we came with here to Wisconsin, she's now professor at in molecular and cell biology at University of California, Berkeley, and she's tenured faculty. And our 2-month-old boy, he's a physics professor at UW-Madison. And my wife, she just retired a couple of days ago from UW-Madison, working in medical microbiology. So it is giving back to the community. This Middleton has been so wonderful to us and our children. So it is just doing and giving something back. So for the city, we have 3 big goals. Number 1 is public safety. It does not matter how much money you have or you have a security or whatever, unless you feel safe, that place isn't really worth living. For me and for everyone else I have talked to, public safety is number 1. That's why our police department, for EMS, the fire department is the very best. Our fire department is the very best in Wisconsin. So I think, and whatever they ask for, and within reason, whether it's the police or EMS or fire, they get it, because it is important to our citizen. And the second is the quality of life. Why do people come to Middleton? Number 1 is they feel safe. A lot of them come from Madison. And then there's the nature conservancy, it's the ponds, there's the parks, it is the library, it is the senior center. We have a lot of great things here. And, you also want to be able to afford it. So that means your taxes should be somewhat affordable. And that's something which I have worked very hard to keep taxes affordable for everyone. I know a lot of you on the call and myself, my family, we can afford it, but there are a lot of senior citizens who are on fixed income. And I always think about everyone, not just, top 5% or 10% or 15 or 20%. Everyone, I always think of 21,000 people who live in Middleton, that how I can help them every single day. And I try to go around and ask them, it's still a bit harder now, this COVID-19, but that's what I do. I go to different neighborhoods every single day. Since I'm retired, I can afford it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this in any case. So, and the last one, which is very important to all of you and to me, that's the economic development. And with the economic development, if the taxes are reasonable, that helps to begin with. But I have worked very hard to bring technology companies to Middleton. I have been somewhat successful, but I would have liked to make it as a technology hub, which in a small way it is, but you can always do more. So we will have one software company moving to Middleton, very soon. And our biggest one is PPD, which is Pharmaceutical Product Development, which will have nearly 2,000 people working for them by the end of the year. And then, of course, electronic theater control and many others. So I'm very passionate that bringing high-paying jobs to Middleton and then helping those who are already here. So, I guess we've been here for 38 years. We have seen a lot of changes happening, and I know a lot of people. So you can see Middleton, this small city, is the second largest city in terms of property values in Dane County. It's not Fitchburg. It is not Sun Prairie, even though they have more people. It's Middleton. So in any case, I actually would like, now we are in the process of preparing a budget, and the budget is the blueprint for the future. And so what gets in the budget will get done next year. So other big things which are happening is the 2018 floods, they were very damaging to the nature conservancy. So I'm pushing that, our Pheasant Branch Conservancy Creek Corridor got repaired, and it's happening. And then our ponds, whether it is Stricker Pond, Graber Pond, or Tiedemann Pond, I live on right on that pond, they got flooded. We want to make sure that within reason that doesn't happen again. And these floods were so devastating to our businesses. So we are working with neighboring cities and with the county to make sure that we don't have the same kind of flood damage again. And so, mitigating floods. So it's very important to me and all the citizens. And of course, the climate change. I helped start the sustainability committee in 2008. And now our sustainability efforts are one of the, more known in this part of the state. So we have done a lot of great things and more are happening. So, and I'm also very firm believer in equity, which is a very, very difficult thing to tackle. It's easy to talk about it and say, but actually creating equitable environment, I have worked on this almost 5 years, and it's not easy, but you can't give up, and we still keep working on that. So I think there are a lot of other things which are, I'm very passionate about, and I try to make it happen. And most of the time it's by talking to people and learning from them what they want and doing just that. So I think I'm open for questions because I want to do what you want. And if you don't ask questions, I will, because you are all very brilliant people, and I'm here to learn from you.
I have a question, actually, Mayor. First,
yes.
Thank you. I appreciate your leadership here, and this is a crazy time to be in charge of pretty much anything. So, but with that, I feel like downtown Middleton has grown into such a vibrant, essential part of the greater Middleton community. Going into these winter months, I feel like a lot of questions are, how do we keep these small businesses afloat? I'm sure you've talked about this, if you could just give some insight on sort of how you plan to do that, to help keep these sort of smaller, less commercial properties, vibrant, and keep the heart of Middleton going.
Thank you, Andy. Great question. This is something our businesses are suffering. And my heart goes out to all of them, that what is that which we could do. For a lot of restaurants, surviving is very difficult. You can see the Common Grounds is closed. And even one of the favorite restaurant here, our downtown, I hope they don't close, but they're likely to close too. So what are we doing? There's the Community Development Authority. So this is one of their responsibility. I'm the chair of that, is to do whatever we can to help the businesses. Again, you ask them, we ask, there's a Downtown Business People Association. So we invited them to our meeting and asked them, what can we do? So what we have done so far is that we open up that green area, both next to the City Hall, as well as the Stone Horse Green, and where there are benches over there. And, and then we also have the signs, people can have picnics and all of those sort of things. And then we are going to install lights in the center of that one, and which is going to bring somewhat cheer to that area. So, and we are also thinking that how could we provide some warmth, because when Wisconsin winters get pretty cold. So what is that what we can do so that they could actually stay warm while they're eating outside? So we are open to all suggestions. So we are putting the lighting, we are putting the benches, we are actually working very closely. And one of the things for making, not necessarily just for winter, is making this place more attractive. We are going to have a mural right along the University Avenue. Again, that's the project in cooperation with the Arts Committee. So it will be right where there's that pizza restaurant there. So it will be on the wall right along the University Avenue. So again, set up a showing this is, the entrance to the City Hall and the downtown, and you are welcome. Then of course we are starting with the loan program, and where the businesses can have a low interest, about 1% loan. It's in cooperation with Milton Area Development Corporation and the City of Milton. We will each chip in about $100,000, and the MADC will manage it. But I'm open to all suggestions. Anything which you think we could do, and within reason, we will do it. So thank you for your question. Other questions? So let me ask you a question. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a question.
Yeah, sure.
I put it in the chat, and I was just wondering, what are you doing to try to attract large tech companies to Middleton? Like, what's the approach that you're taking?
So I spent almost 30 years going around and talking to various businesses and also talking to some of the, well, like the chamber, but it was, again, you didn't identify some companies and see that what they're doing and what their needs are. And the best way we have found is that if you could attract a company at an early stage and provide them some seed money, provide them some sort of facility, and they start with you, and then there's a more likelihood that they will stay with you, and then you sort of nurture them. So, so there was one of the former building, the campus building, where there's a right on that Esser Pond. So there was some of the space available there. So and Steve Cohn, he was managing it. So we brought people there, asked them to look at the space and see if they like that at a reasonable price. And Christy Warner, she also have a community space there, and we visited that place. And again, Mike Davis is working with her to attract some people. And yeah, I guess I have found that it's very difficult to compete with Madison. And if there are companies in that, in the incubator there, MGN incubator or some of the others, and you try to talk to them and ask them, what are your needs? How could I help? Would you want to look at Middleton? And well, you know, it wasn't very successful. So it is, and then I have also noticed that Raven Software, which is one of the largest game maker company in Wisconsin, we were wondering that if they could attract some of them. Of course, they got bought out, and but they're still here. So to answer your question, that I have also worked that if we could create a technology park, and then businesses will come. And as you know, the land in Milton is sort of limited. Let's say, for example, if you wanted Epic, where are you going to have 400 acres, you know, or more? So I think it is by working with the other towns and cities, and also working with the early stage companies and identifying that would they become the next Microsoft. And one of the things which I was going to start at the high school was the Innovation Center, which is going to happen once the new high school is built there. So it will be, you know, providing the facility to the high schoolers that if they have some ideas, they could actually start doing those things there. And then also putting them together with doing the internship and other things with some of the businesses. So there are two ways: helping start the next generation of companies here, and then having the early stage company and then trying to nurture them. And then, you know, whatever else, if somebody is interested and they actually come to you, for example, there's one of the software company called i3, they came to us. So we are helping them in any way we can, so that they will be right close to the capital ICE. It will be north of that place. So I think I have very soft corner for biotech and other high technology companies. And, you know, and there's also one of the program, the generators. So I went and talked to them as well. So, and then through Milton Area Development Corporation, we also started to, there's a Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. So ask them that we could work with them to again attract some of the high tech and businesses here. Well, I mean, you know, I have spent a lot of time and effort on it. But at least it looks like finally something is happening. Great question. Thank you. But that's very close to my heart. That is the economic development, bringing the next generation of Microsoft, Facebook, right here. And I think we can do it. We have a lot of brilliant students at Milton High School. It is just providing them the guidance, mentoring them, and then providing some of the tools and see where they go. Thank you. More questions. So let's say, what would be, in my case, one of my highest priority has been roads. And in past 3 years, you can see the Middleton roads are better. And so this is not to say that we are done with the roads, but we are catching up. So the earlier we used to spend sometimes few $100,000 or up to $1 million on our roads, we have fallen back. And now we have a well-defined budget of $2 million. And so I know we got Shorecrest and some of the other roads which are bad, but you can go on University Avenue, you're quite happy. You can go on Gammon Road, you can go on High Road. So, yeah, so I think the major roads are much better. You know, there was a time when the kids will ask, where did we, you didn't need a sign for your entering Middleton. You could always tell by the roads you're entering Middleton. Well, now it's just the other way around. So the other is nature conservancy, which is also my passion. And so since we live in the pond itself, but I'm trying to create more trails. And it is amazing that even when you want to do it your own money and by working yourself, and even when you're a mayor, you can't really just make things happen. It still has to go through the committees, and the various departments have to agree to it. So I think just because you have the money and you have the vision, you want to do it, you still can do it. So those are, you know, another thing which I want to make happen. So.
Here, can I ask a question?
Yeah, hi Lisa, yes. Mm-hmm.
Hi, so as someone who bikes a lot, I've noticed in Madison that especially around the bike trails,
yep.
In the crosswalks, they're painted green now. Is Middleton thinking of doing that in the future, especially near Pheasant Branch Conservancy?
And Lisa, great question. There are a lot of people walking and riding bikes, especially this time. And yeah, we have thought about it. Mark Opus is in charge of it. He has went back and forth with this one. Again, it's there's a resistance from some of the committees. You can bring the ideas, you can have the money. Unless the committees and the city council agree to it, it does not happen. So we are thinking about it, and let's hope it does happen. You can see those yield signs. It took me 2 years to get those yield signs. They were sitting there since this March. They were sitting in the storage, and the decision was to made where they should go. And finally, I asked them, when is that going to happen? So anyway, so we have those, you know, yield to the pedestrian when you're in a crosswalk. So yeah, so I think, you know, we still got a few more minutes. If you have any other burning questions, I'd be more than happy to help. So I'm trying to work with the other neighboring cities and towns. And if you live in Madison, I'd be happy to do whatever is to be talked to Mayor Satya, Rhodes Conway. So, and if you're in Waunakee, we had a meeting of the Dane County Cities and Village Association with you know, it was again virtual, but was supposed to be in Waunakee. So I visited your library. That's great. So, you know, working with others, you learn from them, and then we bring those ideas here. Any other questions? Favorite places to another place where you would rather like to go and haven't gone there yet, including the space walk or whatever. Well, if there are no more questions, I like to help people. I like to hear from you. My email is simple, mayor@cityofmiddleton.us. And you can also will find me walking around and you can stop me and tell me, hey, why this isn't working. And I will see that, well, I may not be able to get it working right away, but I will find out why and then make sure it gets done. And actually do get those things done. When people complain about the potholes, they complain about whatever else is there, it does get fixed because I think that is my job. So at least I think it's my job. A lot of the others may not think it is, but for me it is. So for me, it's helping people.
Great. Thanks so much, Mayor, for joining us today. Does anyone else have any more questions for Mayor Brar before the end of our meeting today?
Thank you for your leadership.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are great. Well, if you have any questions, send them to me or, well, not only questions, they say, hey, why isn't this happening? Get it done. So, or why we are wasting money or spending time where we could spend somewhere else. All of, any ideas. I think I'm here to listen and I'm here to do things. So I'm here to help. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. You are the cream of the crop. So, and from your travels, you can tell you're also adventurous and you're not afraid to try new things. Whether it's the Swiss Alps, jumping from those Alps or wherever, so, or going to Kabul, which is, I guess, yeah, so it is, or going to Egypt. Awesome.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks, Mayor. So does anyone else have anything that they want to bring up today at the meeting? Any questions that you have about ways to earn points or, anything else that you're wondering about? No? Okay.
Just make a quick comment. So some ways that we've been able to hopefully help a little bit. I know Val and I and some of us other chamber ambassadors, we try to visit some of the restaurants in town too, to kind of help them a little bit. Whether it's ordering out or, obviously now with the winter time come, probably more ordering out than anything else. But, I think that also helps, especially if some of the restaurant owners, they really, truly appreciate it. That if there's any way we can help, that's one way we can, as ambassadors, as people, we can help out that way too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And to kind of piggyback on that, we're still selling chamber gift certificates to the majority of our member businesses. So, if you have someone who lives in the area or even someone who might be coming to the area and you don't know what to get them, a chamber gift certificate is perfect. And yeah, I mean, I've also just wanted to mention I've been really busy with new members over the last couple of weeks, but would definitely like to add some more members here before the end of the year. So if you know of anyone who could benefit from what we're doing right now, we do happen to be one of the only chambers in the area that's continuing with our professional development and networking. Send them my way. And then just the last thing I wanted to mention today is if you guys aren't already following us on Facebook and LinkedIn, please do so, just because we post a lot, and as an ambassador you can earn really easy points by sharing those posts.
So if I could say one more thing, we have 25 city committees, commission and boards, and they have power. So if you want to serve on any of them, so most of the appointments are made in March, April. You're all welcome. Of course, Lisa can send you that information too. So thank you.
All right, anything else today?
Can I say a quick congratulations to Lisa and Kate and whoever else helped welcome Highsight as a new member? That was huge. Do people know who Highsight is and where they are and what they do? That was huge, Lisa.
So I mean, I'll I'm going to take credit for that one. Because I reached out to the CEO, Eric Johnson, on LinkedIn and just said, hey, I'd like to connect with you as somebody who, owns, an amazing business in Middleton. And then we connected. And then maybe a month ago, I emailed and just asked if he would be open to meeting with us at the chamber. And his assistant emailed about a week later and said, yeah, we want to join. We want to set up a meeting with you guys. And then Catherine just asked about membership as we head into the fourth quarter. So our membership has dropped a little bit since COVID. There are a number of members who just have not been able to pay. We have been really lucky to have a sponsorship from TDS to help us meet some of those payments or help some of those members along the way. But we've actually gained about 18 new members since August 1st. So that's pretty good.
Lisa, I have a quick question in regards to HighSight. So I, and much of you here on this call did too, attended the ribbon cutting, their new building. So I was under the impression that Middleton Chamber is involved with ribbon cuttings when they're a member already. So if you weren't a member already, why was Middleton Chamber involved in that ribbon cutting?
Because Kurt was the interim executive director and he said that we would go to it.
Okay. I was
yeah.
Okay.
I think as, kind of as good faith and welcoming to the community,
sure.
It's good if we can do that, but we really try and make it a practice not to do that.
Okay.
But I know when Kurt was interim, he sometimes would do a ribbon cutting for non-members.
Okay. And they are so huge and they're a huge asset to Middleton. I just didn't know if the size was the determining factor, but okay, thank you.
Yep. So, yeah, are there any other questions?
Yeah, one quick one. I know we're running over, but when it comes to member retention, another group I'm with, especially when it comes to leaving because of financial hardships, is that they're offering up companies to sponsor someone's membership for a year. So someone within the chamber who's doing really well could essentially just say, I will cover your membership for this year until you can get back on your feet or get things rolling again, to keep them involved if they find, because I know some people leave for other reasons, but if it's specifically for the financial piece, I would be surprised if there weren't groups that would be willing to front that financial burden, at least, especially this year.
I mean, that's kind of what TDS has done. They've sponsored about 10 of our members right now. And so and we've also offered, reduced payment, like really reduced, if you can pay $25, we'll keep you on, because it's important for us that people are still able to make connections. And so most of the people who have dropped, it would probably be, an average year if you're looking at, people who have dropped or left us. It's just harder right now for me to get out and meet with potential members. So, but yeah, and we offered that sponsorship just to TDS for right now, but we're looking at opening it up to other members going forward. Who knew how long this pandemic would last, right? Like, who knew that we'd still be talking about it in October? And so, yeah, we're definitely looking for that. And I'm really only dropping people if, if I'm calling, I'm emailing, and I'm mailing their invoice and I don't hear from them. But if they call me and they say, oh my gosh, we're in real financial hardship, I'll push their membership out for a while. And then if they can only pay $20, we'll keep them active. We're not really, of course, my salary is it's 100% funded by our members. And so, we want our members to be able to pay, but we also like it sucks right now, right? Like for a lot of different industries, it just really sucks. And so, we're not in the business of dropping people because they can't pay as long as they communicate that to us.
I have a question, Lisa. Are we starting planning for the annual celebration in January, or is that not going to be on the radar this upcoming year?
So we are planning on it. Kristen has really kind of taken the helm of that, and we're looking at a couple of different virtual events with hopefully an in-person outdoor event in May. And so, you know, still looking at it as, you know, a revenue stream, just, you know, really, really different. You know, hopefully we can have, you know, a virtual sip, a virtual sample, and then come together at the end and socialize. So, yep. But yeah, I mean, and if you guys have any suggestion, any feedback, of course, always open for that too.
Yeah, we're able to pivot on the golf outing pretty successfully, I think, and still have a lot of the same fundraising success we did with the in-person events. So I'm confident the SIP Sample and Socialize Committee can put that together too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to look different, of course, but you know, yeah, it just everybody's doing what they can right now. So
that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for sharing your travel stories. I've definitely made some notes on places that I'd love to go to once we can travel again outside the country and a little bit farther. So we appreciate that. If there's anything you guys need, definitely reach out to Lisa or myself.
Yep. Yeah. And if anyone wants to be, you know, in the co-chair position, just let me know by Friday. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Go Packers! Woo!